aims of today's workshop are as follows. So within, as I already said before, within a buddy support system, we have two organizations that are trying to create partnership, enduring partnership for exchange of ESC volunteers. And this year we had more organizations on the side of experienced ones applying, then on the side of less experienced one from Western Balkans. So we decided to also increase the measure by providing workshops that would be tailored to the needs of the organizations. So today's workshop, it's about pre-departure project phase. When preparing the workshop, we were thinking of taking the whole project cycle into account, but then we realized actually that this is too much and it's too big of a period. So in order for us to be focused and quite useful for your partnership creation, we then decided to focus only on this pre-departure phase of project. So what all needs to be done from the side of the three partners. So lead organization, hosting organization, and volunteer. And for this case, we will use a specific case that Luca will shortly present. But now to the aims. So what are we aiming to do with the workshops? We are trying to raise awareness about the tasks that are related to volunteer management specifically. So what all needs to be done on the side of the both partners in relation to the volunteer. So how to attract a young person, how to explain to a young person what he or she will be doing on the project, how to involve him or her into very early project design phase. And then the second part, we will also cover financial aspects of that needs to be covered. So we will be quite concrete in actually putting this stuff in front of you, and we will have handouts. So in a way, this will help you in creation of future project partnerships with Western Balkans, or the other way around, to be able to use quite concrete tools that we are presenting here today. So giving the floor back to Luca.
Thank you very much, Andrea. I think these are, in fact, very well requested information, especially because most of the time we lack of clearness in the way we present documents, in the information about budgeting, as well as in the trust between the partners among the different areas of Europe. Agenda about today, we are sharply on time. It's 10:15, so this is the part of welcoming and presentation of the workshop. We will shortly proceed with this project management cycle, which are the phase, and as well as a little bit of a focus on what is the project itself, rather than the activities of the service of the volunteers. And we will discuss a little bit about that. Straight after, we will have the chance to talk a bit more about the very important documents, the activity agreement, the documents that has to be fulfilled in all the parts between the lead, in this case, and the hosting organization, and as well the volunteer. And we will have the possibility also to discuss on different elements, different actions that should be organized before the volunteer starts his service in another country. We will have, of course, a short break. We care about all of you. So we will, of course, have a moment of refreshment, as well as straight after, we will talk about the budget, because as well, when we need to make an agreement, words are very important, as well as budget items, as well as a very fair amount of money shared by the partner. And we're going to discuss about what should be, how much should be those fair agreement. And we will be ready at 11:25 for the closing and evaluation of this seminar. So here we are. Let's proceed as timely as we are so far. We were discussing, in fact, about the project life cycle, and I would like to give back the floor to Andrei to a little bit inform us about the project cycle, the project life cycle, what is exactly foreseen in the guide.
Thank you, Luca. In order for us to have a quite clear guidance and also to be able to somehow support you visually, we have included in the slide a bit the overview of the project life cycle. Here you can see different important steps in this process. And for our workshop today, actually, we are going to focus only on this pre-departure phase. So a bit where Luca is holding now the arrow. So this where you have prepayment of 80%, then start date of the project, and then maybe also a beginning part. So in this period, you can see and think yourself and also build on your experience. There are many things that need to be actually fixed and set and agreed upon. And then this is actually the basis then for the whole project. If you can move to the next slide, Luca, we will be able to see a bit also activity life cycle, which is something that is even more detailed. So if you move to the next slide, Luca, now we have only the project. So here you have the start of the project, meaning that organizations included, so lead and host are in debate with the volunteer how everything will go. And then you have arrival of the volunteer and then some crucial steps within the project. So activity life cycle is shorter than project life cycle, and then we are actually basing as set only on this maybe initial 3-4 months before the project starts. Now passing the floor back to Luca to be able to present you the case that we are going to work on today. So Luca, here you go.
Here we are. Thanks, Andrei. So the case that we have today, we thought would be better to propose you all a very clear case with numbers, with the specific situation of the volunteers, as well as the period of service that this guy decided to do it and where. So the case that we use is a volunteer that is actually called Simone, very nice guy. It's living in the city of Cagliari, my city in Italy. And in November 2024, he's already planning to have this very important opportunity for his personal development and also professional one. Simone, unfortunately, comes from a fewer opportunity background. It's a guy that has previously problems with alcohol and drug abuse. Nevertheless, is a guy that wants really to have a new life, very supportive for the others, and is ready also to see himself as a volunteer to promote solidarity and organize good things in another country. So he came in the organizations and asked where I can actually go to have this period of service. And our organization identified another organization, Svitak, in Bosnia to help him to have this service. The guy is 21 years old. He didn't complete his school, unfortunately, because of the reason I was sharing with all of you. But he has a lot of interest. Some of them is music and sport, and they really love to organize activity for young people. He would like to cooperate with the organization to take care about workshop, to organize music activities, and he would like to do that for a period of 6 months. So we contacted the organization Svitak that is very well known in the Balkans. They have the quality label either for support and hosting role, and they would really love to have this opportunity to offer to Simone a very good background where he can have a good practice. So we decide with the organization, Bosnian organization, to set up a contract. And of course, this contract, it's called the activity agreement. So I would like to share a little bit the activity agreement that we set up together with Milos, and to focus about the most important, let's say, the most relevant part, according to us, in our experience, that we would like to share with all of you. So the contract is actually made with the hosting organization as well as with the lead organization, because of course the lead is very important in this aspect, because it's the one that it's financing the overall contract. So it's very good to add both clubs, as well as the volunteer. Sometimes contracts are made between hosting and lead, and then there is another contract between hosting and volunteer. We think it's very relevant to create one contract where all the parties are informed about all the different aspects, even the financial one, in order to be transparent, since we are using public money, as well as to be fair with all the parties, inform as much as possible with all the elements. Now I will skip certain parts that are absolutely not relevant in this moment, but very important for the activity agreement. And I will start with a few articles. For example, it's very important that you mention where the volunteers will serve, where the volunteer will do his service, particularly in the Italian law, but also in other understanding of European Union. The volunteer should take the majority of the hours of his service in the venue or in a place that is connected with the organization. So it has to be a place where the organization run the activity. So should not be volunteers that then serve in other organizations or in other places, as well for insurance matter. So it's very important to mention where the volunteers will take part. It's very important to mention as well for which kind of task the volunteer is hired. And here we have to be very specific. So with Milos, we set it down the profile of the people with whom the volunteers will work. In this case, kids and young people with the age, plus all the different actions that this volunteer will have. Starting from organization and designing of workshop, collections of images, preparation of podcast editing, and realizations of articles, and of course the promotion in the E+ result platform, because visibility is important and we also have obligation with the contract. So it's very important, this one, as well as in the relation with the volunteers that sometimes feel a little bit not secure with what he has to do in this case, and as well all those tasks help the organization to set up the best schedule for him. Very important is the period. The period in this case is 180 days because it's 6 months, but of course we have to keep it in consideration that also the days one day before he arrives and one day after he will leave are also covered by the budget. So it's 180 days for the activities, but 180 plus 2 days for pocket money or the inclusion support and the project management. Of course, in case will be a green travel, but this is not the case. These 2 days become 4. We also give it a try to be specific as much as possible also in the time that the volunteer should work. Is it 6 hours per day? Is it 5 days per week? Is it a Monday to Friday? It's a total of 30 hours. The maximum hours he can work is 38. The minimum is 30. And of course, inside these hours, there is also the intercultural part, the language courses, the possibility of the volunteers to meet his mentor. But we also set up a time. The experience should be an experience that is helping the volunteers also to learn for future activities and future jobs. So it's important as well to give him a direction. Everything always can be changed, but it's good to be very specific in all the elements. Here we have this financial and non-financial support. So as mentioned, this 180 plus 2 days that remind to all of us the amount of resources that the volunteer will receive. And then I will just skip some articles due to the time, but nevertheless, if you have any question, we'll be very happy to receive it and to answer to all of you. Here we have a little bit of the responsibility for all the parties. So here is all mentioned what the volunteer should do, particularly the report. I mean, if the volunteer need to create a report that should be not received not later than 2 months. There should be very clear that this is not a replacing of any paid job. So should give, of course, an aid to the organization, but should be in the frame of having a learning by this opportunity. And then as well, we customize it about the training session. Some is made in our case by the national agencies, for example, the pre-departure and the annual event. Some instead is made by the SALTO Western Balkans that identify the correct, or let's say, identify the country where the on arrival and midterm meeting will take place. It's very relevant, we think as well, to write in the activity agreement about accommodation. Since we are asking to the volunteer to respect the accommodation, then we need also to explain what is in this accommodation. In the sense, for us, it is a room that he will share together with another person with the same gender. Gender nowadays, as you all know, it's very important as well. It's very important to mention to a person that has to share his life for 6 months, in which way you're gonna have more or less privacy. It doesn't mean that he need to have a single room, but it's important that he understand very well what will be the condition, the living condition. In this case, we give it a try to describe the rooms as well, what is inside, what is also about the flat, not just the room where you live, what is inside the flat, for example, washing machine, kitchen, if the heating is centralized, if is it included, internet, as well as any other kind of things that you might find yourself happy to share. We, of course, write it down the importance of materials of the organization. So in this case, you have to take care about camera, phone, computer. If we expect that the person respect our environment and our tools, then we need to explain as well which one of them and in which way we would like them to use. There is a little bit about the meetings to remind to the volunteers that the participation in the meetings are a responsibility as well of the volunteers. So you need to participate. It's part of his learning journey. And then very important, we decide to write as well something concern the registration. Now, for the lucky Italian guy that go to Bosnia, there is no visa, but sometimes there are some registration fee, legislation change, national one. So in this case, we also foreseen some resources to register the volunteers to the authority. But in case the volunteers goes in other places, probably there is the need as well to mention what it works in terms of resources for the visa. There is the procedure about the youth pass, where all the parties are responsible, as well as there is another point about support, extra support, because Simone is figure opportunity. So there is specifically indicated that he will receive an enforced mentorship by a mentor. We wrote also the indications of the mentor. There should be a person that is outside the hosting organization. We all know that the mentor should be not an employee of the entity that hosts him, as well as we wrote it down whenever the mentor need to meet the mentor. In this case, within 3 days from his arrival. Of course, this is an agreement between us and the hosting, but could be at the first day or after 7 days. But let's say it's very important that volunteers with figure opportunity have this opportunity to meet the mentor in the very beginning. Shortly to close this speech and then to give you floor for any question, we decide as well to add in the activity agreement a little bit about the arrangement, the financial arrangement. And so hereby we decide to divide it by the volunteers, what he will receive. In this case is €4, multiply 182 days. That means 728 euros. We wrote it down that the allowance will be received to his bank account by a bank transfer. That because he's Italian, so it doesn't really take any cost for us to deliver him every month the pocket money. And also because sometimes volunteers with fewer opportunity do not find themselves well in a project, and not necessarily because the project is not good, but because they have their own burden, and therefore it's always good not to give too much money, either not to confuse the volunteer, either not to be in the situation that you have then to claim back the money for the months that the volunteer will not serve. We also wrote down that according to the money that we will deliver to the hosting organization, part of this amount of money will be given to the volunteer for food money and for having the materials to clean the flat, soap, things that are important in this sense. And in terms of transportation, the hosting organization in this case will provide a bus ticket, monthly bus ticket. But even here could be not provided or could be given a bike. It's not, let's say, an obligation to do that, but in case there is this possibility, better to write it down. On the other side, the organization will receive, in our case, the 90% of the overall budget. Here you see for each items what is specifically given in the budget, and then this is the part that will be received by the organization. So in this case, the calculation of the project cost, that is 19 euros for 182 days, is 3,458. The 90% will go to the hosting, as well as a little bit of money for the registration. 90% for the management will go to the organization. And once more, there is no very specific budget cut between the hosting and the lead. Could be the 10, could be the 15%. It is a little bit suggested, but sometimes, for example, our organization decide to leave all the budget for the management to the hosting organization, since they're actually taking care of the volunteers. Nevertheless, since it's a fewer opportunity volunteers, there is also this inclusion support, other 6 euros a day, and even here, the 90% goes to the organization. As well as in the specific case of Bosnia, is also the language support, since Bosnian language is not in this OLS that volunteers really like it a lot as a platform. We also inform the both party about when the transfer will be made. So in our case, the 80% will be given the first day volunteers arrive, the 6th of November in the organization, and the 20% will be delivered straight after the report will be fulfilled and sent to the national agency. Even this one, it doesn't have to be exactly as such, but let's say it's very important that you define when the organization should receive their resources. Last things that I would like to mention is about the travel cost of the volunteer. Some organizations prefer the volunteers to pay the ticket. In our case, when it is a fewer opportunity volunteer, we we actually, as a lead, we do make the ticket for the volunteer, because we already have the grant. And considering as a fewer opportunity, we don't want to create him furthermore problem. On the other side, it's of course is a fewer opportunity volunteer, so it might be that the volunteer will not in the end decide to go to the project. So in this case, it's always good to buy an insurance and eventually to cancel the ticket. But still, in case you would like that the volunteers pay the ticket, I think it's very fair that should be here an annex about when you will reimburse the volunteers. We have been participating in meetings where the volunteer receive the amount of money only in the end of their service. And this probably is not exactly the best practice to do it. Of course, in the very end, there are the signature, and this is pretty much the activity agreement we signed together with Milos. Now, ask to Milos, since we create the activity agreement together, what are the most important elements also according to him, according to his experience by hosting volunteers in Bosnia and Herzegovina?
Yeah, thank you, Luca. So yeah, now I have more than 10 years experience, and because of that, I had wished to share some things. Yeah, and I agree with all of this that we created. So for me, most important is also APV meeting, where we speak face to face, leading and hosting organization, and with our communication, our communication actually is useful to create this agreement. Maybe some details we can little bit change, like you said, like how to cover travel costs. Should we pay in advance, or we can give it to volunteer that to pay all travel costs. Then later we can cover all of that documents. So volunteer that we host more than 2 months, they have to do registration in police, and there is some small fees for them. And yeah, if volunteers stay more than 3 months from Europe, they have we have to think about budget for visa costs. Regarding visa costs, we usually do registration here in our organization, hosting organization. Then we prepare all documents and we apply for that here in Bosnia. Do you have some a special question? Maybe also it's good to mention reinforced mentorship. That's like extra mentor who works with some volunteers who has a crisis in some period. Then we also invite volunteer who give more time than usual mentor. In our organization, we have few mentors, and here in our agreement, I wrote that we decide for mentor 3 days in period of arrival. The main reason, because in that 3 days we usually include orientation period where we have a meeting where our staff organize meeting with volunteer. Then later we decide who is the quality mentor who can support them to learn more here in our organization.
Thank you, Milos.
Thank you, Milos, as well. Yeah.
Luca, I was thinking maybe of asking people if they have any question that to your presentation or to what Milos has said, maybe to ask and see to the people if everything was clear so far. If you have a comment or a question, I think it's a good opportunity now to say it. Mira, go ahead.
Hello, I know all of you, so greetings from Serbia. What I wanted to ask for the process, like the beginning of the process, what I'm interested is if you go to that part with connecting with the partners that can apply for the ESC project, how that goes. Do you need to sign some kind of agreement before the participant comes, who is writing the project, and how it goes, the process of applying? Maybe I skipped a few sessions, but this is something that I'm missing at the moment. Thank you.
But I can answer about our experience. It's very important that before we set up a contract, of course, before we start even to plan an exchange, we know we met the partner, and there are several different activities that can give you the chance to do that, either in meeting organized by SALTO, where there are a lot of organizations from different countries that decide to offer or to propose certain activities to volunteers, as well as I believe this buddy system measure, it's a very fantastic opportunity for organizations of the Balkans to meet a lead entity. It's very important because we are taking care of young people mostly with problems when we talk about fewer opportunities. So we want to be very sure to send them to have a very great experience, as well as to be in a situation that the hosting organization knows how to take care of them. I don't know if Milos has other practice, but let's say there is as well in the ESC portal the name of many organizations that are looking for partners, and that could be set it up easily as well. And then it's an exchange of emails and of course a little bit of checking the project, because the schedule of the project tells a lot about the quality of the experience and the quality of the organization that is proposing. And this, let's say, is what we usually take care of.
Yeah, maybe I can add, for me, the most useful was study visits. In 2015-16, I attended in a lot of study visits where I met organizations from Europe, and I offered them some activities in our organization. We found actually some common goals between two of our organizations. Then later we decided to apply for projects. At the moment, I have 16 partner organizations who are active with me in last 2 years. We have with some of them youth exchange, with some of them hosting, some of them we also send volunteers. So yeah, I think study visits and good partner identification form is one of useful document if you would like to find a partner organization.
Thank you, Milos. Envina also raised a hand. Go ahead, Envina.
Okay, just to continue on the first question. So we are in the process of buddy support system, and we have been helped and guided quite a lot. But of course, there are some things that are a little bit unclear in terms of starting implementation of volunteering program. So as far as I understood, is that the leading partner is the one that can plan and financially plan their activities, and then they support, they send, and the finances go through the leading organization. In our case, they have already planned for the whole year, and what our first step of collaboration will be is that we are sending for the group of volunteers for the first time in October. How does it work for our organization in case we want to host in this situation that our leading partner is already planned and cannot involve us?
Thank you for
the meantime. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the question. Well, you can actually look for another lead organization. There are a lot of lead organizations that have budget, and they are actually looking for new partners. It's not obligatory to have one lead organization for all contract even. So you can have even more lead organization for different projects, as well as you can host, but you can also, if you have the quality level, if you have the quality level to send, and this called supporting role, you can also indicate, in this case, Albanian participant, or anyway, from other countries, volunteers that goes to Italy or to other country of European Union, and the lead organization can also grant those projects. And in this case, will not be the supporting, so the organization that send volunteers to another country, but will be the one that finance project that host, in this case, volunteers. But as you say, is the lead organization that have the responsibility to manage the budget, and has to do that together with the partners in an agreement that is fair for all the parties.
Yeah. Just another, since I have you all here, just another question. What about our countries, like like Albania, that has no national agency and institution? Do we plan a budget? Do we have this possibility, or we are just depending on the collaboration with leading organizations?
In this moment,
Maybe, sorry, Luca,
okay.
to cut you. Go ahead.
Simply in this moment is not foreseen that Albania in this case has the possibility to manage the budget. It was before, in this moment is not. We will see in the future, because every year the Commission make evaluation also according to the budget, and there is of course the discussions to give more possibility to the partners of the Balkans. But in this moment is not possible in this sense.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, just to conclude what Luca said, for the time being, all projects hosted, send it, teams, short-term, long-term, whatever, needs to be financed through the lead partner coming from a program country. So from EU member states plus the three program countries, Macedonia, Turkey, and I think, is it Norway? Yes, so these countries are participating as well, have the ability to finance projects, but yeah.
Okay.
Is it clear, Envina?
Yes.
I might add that it's very important that, and this is why we are all here, that we increase the numbers of volunteers in this in the Balkan area, because as much we can give evidence that these volunteering programs are useful and there's an impact and there is a need, then probably, you know, numbers are a good way to lobby positively for the cause. So we are all here to do our best to improve numbers for the next semester of 2024, and of course for the years that will come after.
Is a bit
yeah. I
like
agree with that.
The wheel is not really in line with the mechanism.
True,
so.
but Envina, maybe we can talk later. We are open for cooperation and to host your volunteering case. Last year we did it for another Bosnian organization in Italy, so feel free to contact us.
Yeah, thank you.
And then we have Kerim and Mira again. Kerim, here you go.
Yeah, thank you. Just two short questions. One to add up on what was previously said. I mean, but first to comment that it is really a very bad decision that Balkan organizations cannot be the leads, because if we are talking about developing volunteering, I don't know, praxis and everything, then it means that we need to develop also the capacities of organization to work on it. But nevertheless, the politics is like that. For the case, to add up on what Envina asked, for the case that we don't have previous agreement with the lead organization from EU that wants to send the host volunteers, that wants to get in touch with us, is there some kind of official way to establish a relationship? Do we need to make a contract in which we state all the duties and rights and everything? So because we had so far we had, I think, 3 exchanges and they're all confusing me. I haven't learned anything from all of this because it was completely chaotic. So the question is whether we establish some kind of formal agreement with lead partner that has already started the project and already has some kind of budget for sending or hosting volunteers officially. The other question is also regarding some formal provisions. What is the minimum time that we should spend with volunteer? For example, if you don't have a lot of stuff, you know, you cannot devote a lot of time to volunteer, but you want to make it efficient. Is there like minimum contacts or work with volunteers? Is it once a week or every day or something? Because sometimes I mentor, I give the task, and I go for a business trip for a week, for example. Or maybe there is some very interesting things happening in another town in our partner organization, which can support the volunteer for some period of time. So he will do his activities there. We can be in touch with the phone or Zoom and so on. But is there any kind of minimum obligation to spend with volunteer as a mentor? So that's it. Is there some minimum provision? Because sometimes, you know, the situation does not allow you to spend a lot of time. So 2 questions. Thank you. I hope I was clear.
Thank you, Karim, from the...
myself.
Thank you, Karim, for the questions. I try to answer as much as direct I can, and I hope this time will be not confusing. First, is a market. I mean, is a market as many other opportunity when you organize exchanges or training courses. There are a lot of lead organizations in Europe. Italy, for example, has 60. Germany has a little bit more numbers. Other country has their own numbers. Every national agency organize constantly meeting with organization that has lead and organization that do not have lead, because the sense is not that the lead are better than the others, but they identify the lead because of their experience, and they ask the lead to share the budget as much as possible and to have new cooperation. So in our case, for example, Italy is encouraging us to have new cooperation, new partners in the Balkan area and EMEDA area, in European Union area, as well as SALTO is doing that. Like SALTO is actually doing this kind of buddy system measure to help us lead to share with you opportunities. So it's already a very great opportunity, but as well, SALTO Western Balkans organize activity of a meeting with other lead organizations. So my suggestion in this case would be to have a look in the website of SALTO, of course, to get in contact with SALTO Western Balkans, to check newsletter constantly, and to see when there are those meetings and to participate. Now, even if you don't participate to meetings, you can always go in the Ask portal and check the lead, send them an email. Hi guys, our organization is very cool. We would like to host volunteers. We really need them. This is our programs. Do you have a spare budget to invest in our area? And I would say that a lot of organization has the possibility, because for the lead organization, it's good to dedicate budget for giving the volunteers the possibility to participate. But has to be very clear one thing. It's not just about the fact that you are from Montenegro or from another country, I'm from Italy, or another country, that this will make the partnership. The partnership is set according to what exactly the volunteer should do. So I would focus more about proposing the activities. And if the activities is catchy, then it will be catchy also for the volunteers, and then it will be catchy also for the organization, because if you have a cool project, everyone want to finance it and send their volunteers to you. So this, I think, is the very first important things. Like in the market, when you want to sell a course or sell anything else, you propose them a leaflet with all the different actions. And the second thing is about the minimum standard. The project of volunteering is a very structured one. Like you will have the responsibility for a full period of time. Therefore, if you want to host, you need to have a specific structure, people that can take care of the volunteer any moment of the day, because you know, emergency can always happen, as well as a working hour when the volunteer can go, can perform, and can have a supervisor that can give some, you know, feedback about the job is he doing, because volunteers like feedback. All of us, we like feedback. If you're in the situation that your organization still have not a very structured numbers of personnel, or you think that you cannot afford to stay after the volunteer for a full period, maybe you can have a short-term volunteering, like, I don't know, 1 month rather than 6 months. And in these months, you can eventually give everything you can. And in this sense, we can talk about a different type of a project that can, of course, be organized with, of course, different other actions. So this, I think, it's the answer I can provide about your question, and I hope I make my point clear.
and Kerim, I would maybe add to Luca just two things. So within Buddy Support measure, you have lead organizations that you are able to freely contact and express what your organization would like to have. Like cool project that Luca said. So activities are the main important thing. And what Luca said now, if, for example, your organization has challenges in staff, and you can really focus on the months where you are able to be present in the organization to fully support the volunteer. And a good news or a bad news, this is questionable now, is that within 2024 program guide, the short-term projects have been open for all volunteers, which means that before short-term projects up to 2 months were only open for fewer opportunities volunteers. Now this has opened, so also a volunteer that does not need any special support or reinforced mentorship or anything like that can be now included in a 1-month project, for example.
And luckily the budget increased, so we have the resources to hire eventually more personnel to support them.
Exactly. And we also have Mira now for the question.
Yes, it's more like the conclusion for me, and to recheck that I understood well. I'm thinking if we have, like, for example, the partner from Egypt and we are from Serbia, both of us cannot apply for the ESC project. We need to seek for the lead organization to
Exactly.
Give us what we need.
But Mira,
the financial.
Yeah, sorry,
Yes,
just to like quickly interrupt you. You cannot even collaborate between Serbia and Egypt in this case, because the collaboration for the Solidarity Corps project so far is only possible between a program country and a program country and a program country, or a program country and a partner country. So 2 partner countries cannot collaborate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And now that is something that I needed. Thank you, Andrei.
You're welcome.
That's it.
Super. So I don't know if there are any other questions. I can add at this point that it was the questions about should be created any documents before the activity agreement. No, it's not required. In our experience, for example, we have been contacted by other organizations, also in Italy, that need resources to organize projects. And the conversation works very simply. You receive an email, then you make a call, you ask them which kind of personnel they have to support the volunteers in this service and learning journey. And then you ask about the project, you ask about how many resources, human resources, how many volunteers they would like to host, for how long, and then you customize your own project. It doesn't have to be for 6 months, could be a little bit less, a little bit more. Everything depends as well by your capacity, your project, and the strategies that both club has. And in this sense, have in mind that the organization already have resources, like lead organization already have most of the time the resources ready to spend. So this is a positive news, let's say. So if you have a cool project, then the organization will have no need of a deadline to finance your activity. And here we are at 11, and as promised, we can have a 5 minutes break. You can switch off your camera, get a tea, and we can meet here in 5 minutes to 11:05 to discuss a very important aspect that is about the money. So see you in 5 minutes.
Let's continue with the workshop. We have prepared now a bit to dig deeper into the finances area. So I again give the floor to Luca to share the presentation.
Good. So first of all, let's remind a little bit what was our case. We decided to have a volunteer in Bosnia and Herzegovina from Italy for a semester, and this guy has fewer opportunity background. So we'll also add this inclusion support, and we will have to calculate all the different elements for having a fair budget, but to be sure as well that nothing is left aside from the discussion, and the organization will have all the resources they need to organize the service. But before that, I want to challenge you a little bit in a very fast activity. Here you have the link of Menti in the chat, or if you want, you can also follow me by the presentation. So you can scan with your phone or with your device this QR code, so I can ask you a very fast question about budgeting to know a bit more what is your understanding about this important part of the contract. If you manage to scan this one, you can hit heart, so I know that you are with me. Otherwise, you can go to this website, menti.com, and type it down 65 77 91 90. And also, this is a different system. You can also join with that, let's say. Okay, let's start, and we'll see what will be your understanding. The first question I would like to ask you is, according to your experience, in consideration about the overall budget, which are the items that cost the most, or let's say where you will allocate your budget? You can calculate it according to a percentage of the overall budget that you will receive from the lead organization, how much you can spend for each of those items. There is the travel cost, there is the organizational support, that is all the activities that have to be setting up for the logistic of the volunteer. There is the management cost, there is the inclusion support that is there when we do have a fewer opportunity volunteer. There's the pocket money, the resources that the volunteer will receive every month. The language learning support, specific amount of money, in this case relevant because, as mentioned, Bosnian language is not in this OLS, so European Union will dedicate a specific amount for this. There could be sometimes some exceptional costs that you need anyway to prove with the invoice in this sense. In this case, we don't have visa, but as Milos was telling to us, there are some costs in terms of registration. And there is also the possibility for a preparatory visit. In this case, with Milos, we did not plan for it, but of course, you have the chance to have a 2 days meeting with your partner, especially the volunteers, to check if all the activities and the places are okay for the person that will have to take the service. So very good. We have almost the 30% for the organizational support, and then we have all the other. I might say that it's quite realistic. Probably this organizational support should be more, should be absolutely more. Project management is actually very little part of it. But I say the organization also can get some resources by the leftover of the organizational support. And then, of course, this language support, it's instead a little bit less. But let's say good enough. Maybe here we can get some fast question if you have any, and then we will try to answer to those questions about the budget by showing you what are the exact number together with Milos about this guide, about the program guide, let's say in the 2023 and in the 2024. Let's see if there are any questions so far. Seems there are no question about the budget.
I'm sure, Luca, that
Maybe
people Yes, they will come now when we present like the how the program guide sees this distribution. But in the meantime, please add these questions and we will now go to the presentation and then get back to the questions. Okay?
Super. So we see already there was one about the possibility to organize a preliminary visit. Yes, there is this possibility. And it could be, for example, for 2 days between the hosting organization and the lead that can come before the project itself. So here, let's reveal a little bit of the magic that is behind all those volunteers that participate in this program. We have the travel cost. This time it's calculated on the distance band. You see, you have this 609.2. As you are familiar with the distance calculator, there is this band between 500 and 2000 that is the 2023 275 euros is automatically given in case it's a green travel, so the guys will not take flights, but will take, for example, bus, it's 320. And in this case, it's also grant more days as a pocket money. Instead of 2, there will be 4. Here we have as well the future, let's say, the future forecast. You see there is as well here an improvement in this sense. Then there is this organizational support. Organizational support are all those costs. It's about housing and utilities. It's about food, allowance for the volunteers. It's about material, some reimbursement for the mentor. Because, for example, sometimes you take the car to bring the volunteers somewhere, and you would like to reimburse the petrol. And then, of course, there is as well some more resources that is a leftover that can still stay in the hosting organization or in the support organization. That's, of course, have to be decided all time. But coming back in our general example of contribution, after the organizational support that you see is 19 euros for each day, 180 days, plus 2 days of travel. In the 2023, 19 euros, you will see in the future is quite a lot. That's why we really do believe that European Commission listen a lot to the organization, and there are enough budget for also hiring specific person to support this process of learning and this process of service and care for the volunteer. Then there is the project management cost is once for each volunteering project given 2025, not really improved in the 2024. And then there is the inclusion support. Now, the inclusion support is only given for the volunteers that are from fewer opportunity background, coming from with the fewer opportunity background. If they are not in this category, this is not possible to claim it. But in the case of Simone, yes. So it would be 6 euros for all the period for the 6 months, 9 euros in the 2024. Pocket money, as you see even here, is changing from the 2023 4 euros. In the future will be 6 euros. 150 euros instead is the amount of money given for the language support. Exceptional cost is real cost. So we have to see which one are, but in case you claim it, then you have to prove them with invoice, with receipt. You need actually to be detailed in the amount of money you are claiming. And in the end, there is also the preparatory visit. We didn't foresee with Milos, but still you have 575 euros that include your travel and food and lodging, as well as 609 for the 2024. Here you have the possibility for one person to participate, or you can also claim it for 2 persons. Eventually, it can go the leader and the volunteers that can have this moment even before the placement. I don't know if Milos, you would like to add anything from your side, from your experience about that. Please feel free to do it.
Yeah, just a preparatory meeting. It's actually APV. Yeah, and it's good that you mentioned that's like fixed. And until now it was 579. We had few APV meetings, and I always like that meeting because it's good to speak face to face with partner organization and where we can get clear details. And actually, I can share, in this case, I can share with you clear details. If you visit our organization, I can show you real how our activities works in the youth center. So regarding our project.
That's super. Thank you, Milos, for that. We will, of course, share with you all those materials so you can as well work with your partners, try to figure it out as well on your own, how much it will be needed for realizing this project and how much you would like to receive to support your organization capacity. But let's say we can leave also a little bit of time for any question in case you would like to ask any specific information to us about this financial or this contribution part to the project.
Thank you, Luca. If I can step in, I would like to just share with you that I have shared these 3 major documents that we were using today in the workshop. So please make sure that you download them before you leave our meeting. So you will have a Canva that we have used, activity agreement, and also the PowerPoint that was presented by Luca and Milos now. So just this, and maybe now let's go to the questions tied to finances. If you have or a dilemma or a comment that you would like to make, so feel free.
So far, there is only one about the part of preliminary visit. I think we answered to that. But anyway, you can also share it directly on this group if you have any other curiosity in terms of budgeting.
From my side, I can say to you that when we were preparing this workshop, we did it intentionally to be able to make you aware that 2 budgets are now, how can I say, being floating around. So one is still from the old projects from the 23, and actually the new budget that will maybe be used for the project starting very soon. And you can see that there is quite a big difference in financial support. So you need to, my advice to you would be when partner is approaching you, lead partner is approaching you, you need to figure out what is the budget, which year is it, so that you are able to see if you are able to financially go through the proposed budget. Any questions from your side, comments?
Just sorry to
Yes, go ahead.
jump in like this. Is there any, let's say, favorite time to start partnership or volunteering activities?
I guess it depends. Sorry, Luca, maybe just shortly, and you will then be able to add. I guess it depends also on the program of your NGO, you know. So if your NGO is yes, exactly. So if your NGO is working throughout the year with stable, concrete activities, then of course it's possible for you to include the volunteer in any period. But if your NGO is more focusing on some festival or something and holidays period, this of course you need, you know yourself, and you need to inform partners about when is it the best time for you to host a volunteer.
Well, it's exactly what I want to add as well. We have team volunteering project, so it involves not just one volunteers but more of them, and it's in summer, the first week. It lasts 1 month. So of course the volunteer get service on half of July and finish in half of August. But there are also other services that start in April for 6 months or for 1 year, as well as might start in January or December. It really depends on what you have in mind in terms of activities, objective to be reached, and numbers of volunteers you would like to host. As well as you have all to remember that each of you has a specific accreditation with a specific number of people that you can host in the same time. So this is also an element that is about capacity that you can eventually in the future increase in case you need, because of course the organization grow up in terms of activity and the capacity. I'd say that is a number that should never be changed
Exceeded,
without
yeah.
exceeded without the consensus of SALTO.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe I can add. So if in the application you wrote that project should be done until end of next year, example 2025. So we have to think about, as Andre did in the presentation, like period of preparation, project implementation, then a report and feedback from national agency. So you have to think about all of that until end of project.
Otherwise, while you're still thinking about the questions, I would also mention to you an advice from our side preparing this workshop. Now Luca is just on the slide where we were giving you input, but the next 2 slides are actually for you to exercise it whenever you are at that project moment with your partner, so that you define these elements together with your partner, and then you have a clear picture of the finances that is split by the partners. So we really advise you to study these documents and use them in your either here in the buddy support measure for the organizations that are included in this, or outside of it whenever you, I don't know, go on a partnership building activity and you hook up with an interesting organization and you have this chemistry around, and you need to somehow see that you are compatible in terms of activities. Then one of the steps that we suggest is that you have a meeting with them and define these finances together. Okay.
I was also
Yes,
sharing that in case to remind from where those numbers are coming from, as well as the different activities that organization should be responsible for. You can always have a look in the guide of the program, and there you have all the different information as well as the budget, and you can a little bit calculate, try to formulate your own forecast, as well as understand a little bit more how much money there is for each volunteering project that you're hosting, or for those that you will be in the role of supporting organizations. So you will have some of your members going in other countries to participate in the project. So this is also a possibility, and you have all these materials already published. You can download it, or eventually we can also send it to you.
Any questions, comments? In case not, I think we can then go to the evaluation and the wrap up. And while Luca is preparing for the evaluation, I would just like to point out that in case you need any support, that we are available here. You can contact us by email, and we will be able to see how to help you. So I hope that this workshop was very useful to you. We will also put the recording of it on our YouTube channel, so that you are able to come back to it later on when needed. So that would be shortly from my side. A bit now I pass the floor again to Luca
So thank you very much, Andrei. We are in the moment of evaluation and closing. And as previously, we would like to use again Menti. And here you have the possibility to share your, just a second, we'll have the possibility to share your comments about the workshop of today. You are very trained, so you know you can participate by the QR with your phone or by going in the website menti.com and typing down 78, 68, 66, and 59. So in this sense, once more, if you hit the heart, you will make my day, because I will understand that you are included in this evaluation moment. So far we are 3. I believe we can reach a higher number. Okay, so 3 to 1, we can 4. That's fantastic. We can go to the first question. If you have any learning point of the day, if you feel that you get to your experience one more piece of puzzle, then we'll be grateful if you can share it with us, so we can understand if this workshop was useful to provide some information. So in this case, you can write down your comments, or let's say a specific learning point of this hour and a half we spent together. So the first comment is how finance are spread among partners and other administration. We have been, in fact, talking about that. And of course, also this agreement that we presented to you will be delivered later on, so you can use it as template. Budget information, the possibility of establishing partnership. It's always important to have new partners and to give more opportunity for young people. Let's see if we have any other comments. Otherwise, we can move to the next question. Activity agreement information, budget, quality in the future project, and as well some agreement. That is always good. That's always good. Next question is about workshop in a word. You can choose 1 word or 2 words to briefly wrap up your so fast. It's actually the first word, fast and efficient. Difficult to combine them, but thank you very much. We are happy about this. Anytime, anyway, you need any extra support, feel free to contact us. Useful. Let's see if we have any other contribution. Interesting. Oh, wow, there's a lot now. We have administration, we have short time, we need more time. Presentation was okay, great. Budget, interesting. Good. Thank you very much for your comment. If you would like to add anything else, here we have 20 more seconds to close our webinar in case you have any extra thoughts that you didn't manage to share with all of us. Thanks. Thank you for your availability. Thank you as well for being patient and participating in this webinar. It was very useful for all of us, I believe. When do we meet again? We do have another meeting for those that are participating in the buddy system But I don't know, maybe we will all meet also in other opportunities that SALTO will organize. I'm sure about that.
On the other side.
What do you mean, Kerim?
Lucas says we will meet on the other, and I just continued side.
Aha, okay.
That's
Yeah,
very
for
good.
example, from the side of the our SALTO, I can say that for sure there are activities in which we are including our participants from the region. So there are TOSCAS, PBA activities that are especially designed for partnership creation. There is also annual event for ESC organization that this year we are going to implement together with Slovenian National Agency in October. You will get information from my side over email. So for sure, there will be also opportunities to meet not just online, but also face-to-face if you have the time. Yeah. So that would be actually from my side. All thanks a lot to all, to Milos, to Luca, to all of you for participating. If anything relevant comes to our mind that we would like to share with you, we will again approach you by email or post a message on our Facebook page. So again, thank you and have a nice afternoon.
Thank you.
you.
Bye.
Ciao a tutti. Ciao a tutti.
Thank you. Bye bye.